Welcome into the UCR Basketball Show presented by Fire and Vine. I am Noah McKay, and that is Jacob Vinson. We have the second episode of the show this week, and that's because it's a big week. It's postseason basketball. It's already begun yesterday with three really entertaining play-in games across the Upper Cumberland. We're going to talk about those tonight, and we're going to preview with brackets every district tournament in the Upper Cumberland. That is 14 different brackets between boys and girls basketball to get to. We'll have them on the screen for you to follow along and track what's going to be happening over the next week or so. The real season begins now, Jacob. It's an exciting time. You got a dandy of one to come back in the booth with yesterday.
Hey man, what a start it was to the district tournament time yesterday down in Warren County. Me and Cameron got a heck of a ball game. I was joking with him and said, it should be a pretty fun ball game or a pretty tight ball game. And he goes, you say that and it's going to go to like 4 overtimes. And it went to the first overtime. He just kind of looked at me as it was going to overtime. But we get the one overtime. Cookeville, a big win as well. 68-65. Just didn't play their best basketball, but man, they hit some timely shots, got some timely stops, and got a little bit of help in there as well. But it was a heck of a win from the Cavaliers to keep their season alive, and they could absolutely win this district tournament as well. So that's why that was so big.
Yeah, no doubt. That district's very interesting. It's the last one we'll talk about tonight. We're going to work our way up the classifications, start with District 6 Single A, and make our way all the way through. We're live on the main UCR Facebook page and YouTube channel tonight. Let us know in the comments who you are, where you're watching from, as we move along. If you've got a hot take or two, throw them in and we'll incorporate your comments as we move along through the show. But first, as always, Jacob, we got to thank our all-inclusive sponsors.
Yes, we do, and that includes Watson Chevy, Mayberry's Furniture, Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing, Aminette's Eagle Auction and Realty, Swallows Insurance, Tee Up in Baxter, Sonia Brown with American Way Real Estate, Nick's Restaurant, Turf Masters Landscape Management, The Real Estate Collective, Livingston Regional Hospital, Fire and Vine, as you see their logo. Well, maybe at some point you'll see their logo there in the middle of your screen, but they are the presenting sponsor of the UCR Basketball Show, The Quality Family, the Crouch Team with Highlands Elite Real Estate, Legacy House, and Box Drop Cookeville. Thank you so much to all those people and businesses for making everything that we do here at UCR possible.
Yeah, and our lovely camera has glitched out, but the audio is still working. That's what I just checked. So let me see if I put that on the screen, if it will work. It does, and that's all we need. And I'll make sure that you can still hear. But Jacob, let's get right into the show, and let's start with District 6 Single A.
So you see 6 Single A on there, and this is a 6 Single A district that has been dominated by Van Buren County in years past. It's going to be dominated by Van Buren County again this year. You see them there in the 1 seed. They're going to take on number 4 Whitwell, and you look at the season that's Van Buren County has had. We knew last year they were a really good ball club, and I think they kind of surprised some people making the state tournament and then obviously making that state title game. But this year, there's no surprises to them. Only 4 losses on the year, undefeated through the district, and none of the games have been close. Only one game closer than 30 points, and that was still a 22-point win against Sale Creek. So they're going to end up meeting Sale Creek in that championship game, and they're eventually going to win by as much as they want to in that championship game.
Yeah, this is, it seems like, and there's a couple of districts where we feel like we've got a pretty good grasp on who's going to win it. There's a lot where we have no clue, and that will be fun to break down. You asked me what the safest bet in the entire Upper Cumberland for a team to win the district tournament. It would be this team in Van Buren County. I think the Eaglettes have shown that they are far and away the class of this district, and I expect them to really have no issue. And that's no disrespect to these other 4 teams, or other 3 teams, rather. It's simply a credit, I think, to what Tyler Sapp has built there in Spencer. I expect this to be pretty dominant. It could be running clocks in both games for Van Buren County, en route to what I expect to be a pretty dominant region tournament as well, though there is a Copper Basin sitting out there, which will be certainly more competitive than anybody else will be, I think, out of this district and region for the Eaglettes.
So District 6 Single A, it's the girls tournament. First of all, you're going to see all of these brackets. Noah put all of these together today, so shout out to him. They look great. All the times and the games and where they're played. All these games being played at South Pitt. Going to get started tomorrow at 6 o'clock and then 7:30 for the girls basketball side of things. Van Buren County will play Whitwell, and then Sale Creek will play South Pitt. Those two will move on into the championship Monday at 7:30. Obviously, the losers will play in the consolation game. So that's what we look for on the District 6 Single A girls side. Let's move it over to the boys side, where Van Buren County is also over there. And Van Buren County just a shade under 500 so far this season with their overall record. And district-wise, the trying to get it going a little bit as well. Of course, South Pitt has kind of had their number in the last recent years, but 4-2 in the district so far this year. And be interested to see what Van Buren County can do in the district tournament this year.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and send out an all call. I am begging the District 6 Single A boys, and I'll get that one fixed on the screen. This is the boys bracket, not the girls bracket. Again, I made all these today, but I'm begging you to please update your Coach T scores with your scores, because there's a lot of games out of this district which are not on Coach T. We found the bracket though, and Van Buren County the one. This one reminds me of 6-4A. Jacob, anybody could win it. Would not surprise me at all if Van Buren County wins this, if Whitwell wins it, Sale Creek wins it, or South Pitt wins it. A lot of teams have beaten up on each other in this district, and this one feels absolutely wide open.
Yeah, to your point, Van Buren County is first in the district. They are the number 1 seed coming here into this district tournament, 4-2 throughout the regular season in district play. They split with South Pitt and they split with Sale Creek, and then they have a couple of wins against Whitwell. They do have a 21-point win against Sale Creek in there as well, so they've got kind of more of that comfortable win. And then obviously splitting with South Pitt is really good as well. South Pitt, like you said, you look on Coach T, they're listed at 4-1, and they don't have a game against Sale Creek listed on there.
Please update your score. Please update
who knows
your scores.
I would imagine that they won that game, but hey, you never know. They could have lost that game. So, I'm going to guess we're probably going to see Van Buren County and South Pitt in that championship game. But like you said, Sale Creek has already gotten a win against Van Buren County once this season. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Absolutely. We said we're going to shout out some comments. We are. How about Shorty? She always comments along from Sparta. She's shared and watching. You should do what she did and share the broadcast. We appreciate that. My guy, Derek Jones, is tuning in. Good evening to Derek. He's the in the building voice for the Upperman Bees and Lady Bees on the PA system there. Always good to hear from him. David's tuning in. David, you're awesome. Appreciate that. And Clarice is watching as well. And then over on YouTube, Drew is still upset about some of the all Upper Cumberland teams. Nathaniel Cobb is a great defender, Drew. I promise we're big Nathaniel Cobb fans. Only 5 spots, and it was very tight. So, but appreciate you watching, and then
hey, to be fair,
he enjoys the show as well. It was close. There's a lot of names. it was close without question. But yeah, this 6 single A boys tournament, I think, is going to be wide up in the air. And if you think we move a little bit fast, it's because we are. We have 14 different brackets to get to. If we spent about 10 minutes on each, we'd be here for over 2 hours. So some of these we're going to move pretty quickly through, especially ones where we mentioned Van Buren County, a heavy favorite over on the girls' side, the boys' side we talked about, but we want to get into these all Upper Cumberland districts as well, where we can break down a lot of these teams.
Obviously, all those games being played at South Pitt as well. So like you said, let's move on to 7 single A. And obviously, we've seen a good amount of these teams a lot this year. And we'll start on the girls basketball side of things. Pickett County right back up there at the top, the number 1 seed. Didn't have the best start to the year, but we'll caveat that with they played essentially a 4A schedule the first half of the year. Just an insane schedule for this Pickett County Lady Bobcats squad. And they fared pretty well through that stretch. Got some big wins against some really big teams, and then went undefeated in district play. So they're the number 1 seed. How about the win from Clay County last night in the play-in game against Red Boiling Springs, trailing by 15 at halftime, still trailing by a good amount at the end of the third quarter, and end up winning the ball game to keep their season alive and take on this Pickett County team in the semifinals.
No doubt. First of all, tip your cap to Red Boiling Springs. And one thing we know under Coach Pryor, they're always going to play really hard. And that's still a young basketball team continuing to get better. A great play-in game last night there at Livingston Academy, and credit Clay County battling back, not blinking, facing elimination. Maybe didn't expect to be facing elimination. You are, and you find a way to answer the call. Not a surprise that Matt Walker had his team fired up, ready to go in that second half, and they're able to get out of there with the victory. Very interesting district tournament. Obviously, some heavy hitting names. You mentioned Pickett County. They went undefeated in the regular season, really turned the corner despite that difficult start to the season. Really felt like there was maybe some buy-in. First-year head coach, players who've been coached by Brent Smith forever and ever, and then all of a sudden Brittany Cooper comes in, and there's been a lot of buy-in there, I think, and you've seen that reflected on the floor. This is a team that seems to be gelling at the right time, Jacob, with Pickett County, and they certainly enter this tournament as a favorite, but it's not like 6 single A where we say, oh, that's a runaway, no doubt they're winning this tournament. I mean, it starts with Clay County. you never know what's going to happen when Pickett and Clay County get together. I thought Matt Walker had a brilliant game plan when these two teams played each other in Byrdstown after a pretty wide margin in their first meeting in Salina. That could continue. Wouldn't surprise me at all if in a third meeting that's a dogfight. And then on the other side, talk about two of the most accomplished coaches in the history of this state on girls basketball, Jim Brown and Lamar Rogers getting together. Both guys you never count on in the postseason, and both have really good rosters, and both going to feel like they got a chance to put a little bit of a run together and trying to start that tomorrow night at Livingston Academy. This is going to be a very fun district tournament. This district is consistently, and now they've added Jackson County even more so, one of, if not the best district in single A basketball in the state. And I expect it to be a fantastic district tournament coming up.
So these games will be coming up tomorrow. All of broadcast coverage of that Pickett County, Clay County game on the UCR Facebook page at 6:30 coming up tomorrow night. And then the Jackson County Clark Range game will be on the NFHS network. The boys games, obviously we'll get to those here in a second. Those will be coming up on Friday. Pickett County, Clay County, mentioned Pickett County undefeated through the district regular season, beating Clay County a couple of times by 38, and then they beat them by 9. So Clay County figured some things out the second time around. Jackson County and Clark Range. Jackson County had Clark Range number this year, beating them by 35 and 11. And that one was the second time around where it got a little bit shorter. So those rematches, obviously teams are playing a little bit better in those rematches. Now this third time around can get a little bit interesting coming up tomorrow night in the district semifinals. Winners will move on to the championship Monday at 6:30. And then, of course, they'll have the consolation game coming up Monday as well to decide the seeding going into the region tournament. So that is the girls' side. We'll switch it over to the boys' side, and this is going to be a really fun district tournament, as it always is on the boys' side as well. Pickett County, they are the number 1 seed on the boys' side. They'll be playing Clay County, was able to win their ball game easily last night. Speaking of, how about Cole Eads? 11 3-pointers, a school record. That'd be a school record at a lot of schools, if not every school around the area. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, a sensational performance by Cole Eads. And just when you're hot, you're hot. And my goodness, he can get red hot. And he showed that off. A really convincing victory. And again, I'm going to kind of reiterate what I said. You think about the coaches over on this side, and then these athletes. I think that's the thing that leaps out. The athleticism in this single A boys tournament is really evident. I mean, you've got some guys who can absolutely go just. You've got some bigs. Obviously, you got Will McCrary. You've got 3 guys in the all Upper Cumberland first team, all in this tournament, and then studs even beyond those 3 as well. I mean, this is a tournament loaded with really good coaching. This is, if you just like really classic, well-played boys basketball, I think this is going to be the tournament for you. A lot of intriguing storylines here. Pickett County was really a convincing regular season champion in a very difficult district, but now everybody's 0-0 and everybody's going to be gunning for Pickett County. This is also where I think when you compare Pickett and Jackson County in particular, how big of a role is that experience factor. We saw it play a role in both matchups where Pickett County had big leads. Jackson County came back. Pickett was able to win both those meetings, but it ratchets up a little bit more in the postseason, right? So a guy like Nathaniel Cobb, speaking of, he's going to have to play a big role for this team. Cole J. Eminette's got to play a big role as some of these younger kids, and Cole J. Eminette's just a sophomore. Will that play a big factor if, and that's a big if, these two play for a district title? Don't write off the Clark Range Buffaloes or Clay County, but Clark Range, second time around, they got blitzkrieged in the first 2 meetings with Pickett and Jackson. Second time around, absolute dogfights. They've got some guys who can go. Brighton Swallows is a great basketball player. Very intriguing District 7 single A tournament on the boys' side. Maybe even more intriguing than the girls' side, honestly, in some ways.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And anytime Pickett County and Clay County get together, it is extremely, extremely competitive. You remember the district championship from last year. That was an unbelievable ball game. And we'll see what happens this year here in the semifinals. Pickett County did beat Clay County a couple of times by 14 points in each of those games. On the other side for Jackson County and Clark Range, Jackson County, that 2 seed, they beat Clark Range, like you said, by 20 points in the first game, but then only beat them by 1 that second time around. So the Buffaloes starting to play some really good basketball here down the stretch, and tip of the cap to those Buffaloes. 16-12 overall on the year. They went 4-4 in this district, a very good district, earning the 3 seed. Just the rise that they have, or the progression that they have had over these last couple of years, has been really impressive.
Yeah, Coach Logan does a great job there with this team. And you look, year over year, they've gotten better and better and better and better. And they're starting to build that belief in the program that they're going to win basketball games. It's a dangerous Clark Range team. And they're the kind of team, and this is what gets interesting. And we're going to talk about it a lot, particularly with 7-3A on the girls' side. When you get into the region tournament, right? All four of these teams have already secured a berth into the region tournament. Clark Range is the kind of team that you do not want to see on the other side of you in a region tournament, no matter what happens in a district tournament, because they can play really good defense. But my goodness, if they get hot from the floor, you can find yourself asleep at the wheel, and then you're in a dogfight. I really like Clark Range to be a potential spoiler team and put a little bit of a run together, but they got a big challenge, obviously, on Friday night in the form of Jackson County. You've got two of the top three teams in the state in one bracket.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And obviously, we've seen the top team in the state, and they had some absolute battles with Pickett County already this year. They also beat Jackson County already this year, that being Eagleville out near Murfreesboro. So that's the 7A boys side. We'll keep on moving on, and we go to 8 single A girls. And of course, this is where 7 single A will match up coming up in the region tournament as well. So that makes it kind of interesting this year. This is that new district in 8 single A this year. It was a very big district. It's down to 4 teams, and the Gordonsville Tigerettes are the number 1 seed. They'll be playing coming up tomorrow night against number 4 Joe Burns, and then the other game is Merrill Hyde against Trousdale County. Those 2 games tomorrow night being played at Gordonsville.
Speaking of heavy favorites, Gordonsville enters this district tournament as a heavy favorite. Terry Brock's done a great job this year. I've been really impressed with their rise. Lily Brock, the freshman on the all-freshman team in the Upper Cumberland, she's a name I think a lot of people are going to get to see. Unfortunately, Gordonsville being thrown into that other district, a lot of fans in the Upper Cumberland haven't been able to see them play yet. That being said, they're looking to bounce back. Took it on the chin a little bit in Gainsboro earlier on this week on Monday night against Jackson County. Interesting that matchup happened when it did. Obviously, a potential rematch is very much possible in a week or two. But, if it's not Van Buren as the heaviest favorite in a district tournament, it's got to be this Gordonsville team. I mean, they were really dominant in the regular season in district play, and I would look for that to continue this week.
Yeah, they cruised through district play. They had one game they won by 7 points against Merrill Hyde, that 2 seed. They also beat them by 22 that second time around. So they played much better in that second game. Only 4 losses on the year, and we mentioned one of those to that Jackson County team just last week before going here into the district tournament. So interested to see what the Tigerettes can do on the girls' side of things. We'll switch over to the boys' side of things as well in 8 single A. Again, new district here. Gordonsville, the 2 seed in this district. Joe Burns earning the 1 seed. They'll play Trousdale County. Gordonsville will get Merrill Hyde. These games will be on Friday at 6 and 7:30, also being played at Gordonsville.
Should be really interesting, this tournament. And one thing I know, I'm never going to bet against Greg Bibb in the postseason. He's going to have his guys ready to go, and I'm not going to bet against Jay Foster in the postseason either. Talk about a guy, what a illustrious career this guy has put together there at Gordonsville. This is a very balanced tournament. I really look at it, and this is one where obviously Joe Burns has earned the right to be the 1 seed, but I think really all 4 of these teams, I mean, we've seen Trousdale County. I did not think they were going to be the 4 seed when we saw them around Christmas. They've got some dudes who can flat out ball, that can shoot. Gordonsville, they're going to get after you on the defensive end, and they've got some guys who can get rolling from the floor as well. So this one, I think, is a tournament that's going to have several single-digit games. I don't think this is a runaway, and we're going to call it like we see it. That being said, Joe Burns has earned the right to be the favorite entering it. I think Joe Burns is very athletic and very talented. Won't surprise me in the least. It's the team outside of the Upper Cumberland connection. I don't think, we talk about the Jackson County and Pickett counties of the world. I don't think they would love to be lined up against Joe Burns. That's the team, I think, that if you ask the average person out there, that's the team that gets the most attention. But I wouldn't want to see Gordonsville on the other side either. This should be a very competitive 8 single A tournament.
Yeah, you mentioned the competitiveness. Joe Burns, they went 7-1. That one loss was to Trousdale County by 1 point, 67-66, just a couple of weeks ago on February the 6th. So we'll be interested to see what they do against Trousdale County coming up here in the semifinals. Then, of course, Gordonsville will get Merrill Hyde in their semifinal matchup as well. They lost to Merrill Hyde by a point in January. That was the second time around. They beat them by 15 the first time around in early December. So obviously, they haven't played for some time. January 22nd, the last last time those two teams played. So we'll see what Gordonsville can do coming up in the semifinals. Winners will move on and play on Monday at 7:30, and then the consolation before that as well. So that is 8 single A, and of course 7 single A and 8 single A matching up in the region tournament, like Noah mentioned there as well. So we move on to 2A. We're done with the single A brackets. We move on to the 2A bracket, and we start with 6-2A girls. York Institute having another great season, the number 1 seed here in this bracket. And this is going to be a fun tournament. You've got York Institute taking on Monterey in the semifinal, and then Smith County and Cannon County in that second game is going to be a great basketball game.
Yeah, Smith County, Cannon County is the intriguing one. York's going to win by 1 billion points. Smith County, Cannon County is going to be very interesting. I think those two had a very good battle a week ago in Woodbury. And obviously, Smith County was able to get the win. Matt Farrell has his team completely bought in. I think Matt Farrell is a heck of a basketball coach. And then they got the signature win. Lebanon came to town, and if you have not seen the final play, it's a dandy to give Smith County the win in that one. I got to talk to him a little bit this weekend about that play. It was a fantastic play executed by those players, and they've got Emery Jones who's going to run the show for them. But that is a Abby Alexander for Cannon County. She can get red hot. She is a 3-level scorer. There's a lot of really good players in that matchup, and obviously it's critical to get into that championship game. Smith County has been hunting the victory over York, trying to find a way to win it. York enters on a losing streak. It ain't your average losing streak with who they played last week. An insane final week of the season. They literally played the UC top 5 last week. Pickett County, Cookeville, White County, and Stone Memorial. They played the UC top 5. So they
beat Pickett County in overtime.
And then they dropped the last 3, but this is a York team that everyone knows the caliber. They're a state championship caliber team. But that being said, if you get into that championship game, you take your crack at them, and you don't see them again until a region championship, because what you definitely don't want is Rayleigh Warner, Emma Cooper, and these York Dragonettes led by Michael Green across from you in a region semifinal.
Yeah, Smith County, Cannon County in that semifinal going to be a heck of a basketball game. And we say that because in the regular season, it was a 2-point game and a 5-point game, 44-39 and 55-53. Smith County able to win both of those ball games. All of these games being played at Monterey, so a neutral site for these two teams. And it will be really interesting to see what they do to try to get into that championship coming up on Monday. All these games mentioned at Monterey. These games will be starting tomorrow, Thursday at 6 and 7:30. Championship at 7:30 with the consolation at 6 o'clock on Monday. That's the girls' side of things. We'll look at the boys' side of things as well. A little bit different on the boys' side. Cannon County, we just saw them the other night against Upperman. That's a very good Cannon County basketball team on the boys' side. They were down big against Upperman and able to crawl all the way back and at least make it a ball game down the stretch. They are the number 1 seed, and they'll be playing Monterey Friday at 6 o'clock, and then Smith County York in that second game Friday at 7:30. Feels like a 2-headed race for the championship, and watch out for those Dragons.
Yeah, watch out for York indeed. Cannon County wins the coin flip. That was a big coin flip. No doubt got a better path here through this tournament. So they tied the season series with Smith County. If we get a rematch, my goodness, how good could that be? But York has shown some things. They were competitive with Stone at times on Saturday. They've got some guys that can really play, and they're a little bit more experienced. Still a very young basketball team, and Rodney Pyle can really coach. This is a guy who was in the state tournament just a couple of years ago. Don't forget how good of a coach Rodney Pyle is. And they're a team that they build some belief, they can be very dangerous. That being said, I think Coach Bussel's done a great job at Smith County. I'm a big fan of what he's doing in Carthage. I really like the athletes that he's got at his disposal. I do likely expect this to be Smith County against Cannon County for a district championship, and that should be a fantastic basketball game if that's the game that we get coming up on Tuesday night.
Yeah, championships would be Tuesday at 7:30 with the consolation at 6 o'clock in the regular season between Cannon County and Smith County. A 5-point win for Smith County and a 6-point win for Cannon County. So splitting in the regular season by the slimmest of margins in the regular season. Elsewhere, Cannon County was able to dispatch of Monterey easily. Smith County beat York in the regular season a couple of times as well by 29 and 35. So that is 6-2A. That brings us to the 3A classification. We start with 7-3A. And there's a lot to be there always is a lot to be talked about with 7-3A on the girls' side. This district, and I'm sure we sound like a broken record, but it is unbelievably loaded 1 through 5 this year. You've got the top 3 teams in the state, and then you got Cumberland County and Livingston Academy in that play-in game, which is going to be an unbelievable play-in game coming up Friday night at 6 o'clock to try to get into the semifinals and take on the number 1 team in the state. Those are 5 really good basketball teams.
We're going to spend some time on this district for obvious reasons, the strength of it, and every team is a team that we cover. Let's start with this. The strength of this district is reflected in the fact that a Miss Basketball finalist is in the play-in game. Sydney Wilhite is in the 4 seed for Cumberland County in a play-in game against Livingston Academy. This bracket right here would be a great state tournament. And that is not an exaggeration. I mean, you've got 3 teams who were the top 3 ranked teams in the state. They all started beating each other, and so it's shifted around. They very well could be the top 3 teams in the state still. I think there's no doubt that they're the top 3 of the top 5 teams in this state, and this is a very good classification. Don't get me wrong. Daniel Boone's a great basketball team. Dyersburg, Southside. You understand the strength of these teams. Cott County, very good. But we've seen our teams play some of those teams and beat them earlier on this season. This tournament is interesting in a lot of ways, and we could talk about the games, Jacob, but first of all, that playing game, but then the 4 and the way the brackets work out in this. Listen, let's just be honest about it. When it comes to the region tournament, there are some very good spots to be in, and then there are some not so great spots to be in because of the strength of this district in particular. You really would probably rather not face one of the top 5 teams in the state in a region semifinal. But the reality is 2 of these 3 teams at the top are going to face each other in a region semifinal next week. And all bets are going to be off at that point. It'll be on a neutral floor, likely at Watertown. This district has, and this district tournament in particular, has a ton of different factors at play.
Yeah, it's Cumberland County, Livingston Academy, obviously in that playing game coming up Friday night at 7 o'clock. That one, obviously, to keep their season alive and get into the district tournament. And we kind of talked about it at the beginning of this season. One of these teams, one of these 5 teams is not going to make the region tournament. And obviously, we've talked about how good they are. Livingston Academy had a struggle to start the season, but they have since figured it out. Only 1 win in district play, but it was against Upperman. And at Upperman, they won by 5. In all their games, with the exception of the 2 against Stone Memorial, have been fairly close. Even against White County, they had an 11-point loss in January. And then obviously White County was able to win by a little bit more the second time around. But they've been competitive in a lot of these ball games against Cumberland County. They're going to be playing them. Lost by 7 and lost by 9. So a few more bounces go their way, and we'll see what can happen on Friday night.
Yeah, nobody wants to coach against Leslie Riddle in the postseason. But to that point of this district, nobody wants to coach against Ronica Dishman. Nobody wants to coach against Mike Buck. Nobody wants to coach against Danny McWilliams. And nobody wants to coach against Michael Dodgen. So, but Leslie Riddle magic is real in the postseason. Not many people last year had that team making the sub-state round and being competitive with the eventual state champions on the road, and that's exactly what they did. So, this is going to be a ferocious 4-5 matchup. And obviously, you've got the superstar in the form of Sydney Wilhite. You've got the freshman, Olivia Futrell. You've got Maddie Spriggs for Cumberland County. You got Emma Poston trying to extend her high school career. You've got Reese Collins, who is a great point guard for this basketball team. The interesting contrasting of styles because of Wilhite's ability to score and Cumberland County's shooters, they're a little more comfortable if that game gets into the high 50s, 60s. Livingston Academy, that when they won in Baxter was a low-scoring defensive battle. I think that's probably the avenue for Livingston to have success in this game. And if they win it beyond, is to turn it into a rock fight. You just really struggle to score against the Leslie Riddle zone that she can deploy at you. This is a ferocious 4-5 game. I mean, there will be district champions who are not as good as these 2 teams from around this state. I can promise you that. And then from there, the big disadvantage you have too, if you're Cumberland County or Livingston coming out, that you have to play the number 1 ranked team in the state on a 24-hour turnaround. That's not the best thing in the world, but you'll be coming off a big win to extend your season. And that 2-3 game, I mean, that's a state championship caliber game between White County and Upperman. The 2 matchups in the regular season were both very interesting. The scores, the way those games happened, each team won in their own home court. Now it goes to a neutral floor about the same distance apart from both schools. It doesn't get better than that semifinal game that we have on Saturday. And Jacob, real quick, you're jump out and come back in because your microphone isn't working. So Jacob was just talking, and he's going to repeat what he said because you can't see us today because the graphics are on the screen. But I saw it not moving and said, "Wait, Jacob, come back." So he is on his way back in, and when he gets in, he'll continue. He was telling you about the bracket, so let me go ahead and get. We are not back. I don't know if you can hear me, Jacob. You can tell me if you can. Okay, you can. That's great. You are not back. Go back out and come back in, and I'll give the bracket while you do that one more time. Maybe reset something. So we're talking about the District 7 3A girls tournament. Cumberland County, Livingston Academy. Those games will be broadcast live Friday at 6 o'clock. It'll be on our Facebook page and on NFHS Network. Craig Cantor and myself are going to be on the call for that one. The voice of the Wildcats, of course, going to call the Livingston game. And then Saturday at 3 o'clock is the opener, and that is White County taking on Upperman. And then we will have boys action. And then back 6 o'clock, it'll be Stone Memorial girls against the winner of that Cumberland County Livingston game. Jacob, nothing. And you have a black screen on the software. Okay. He says one moment. He's going to jump back out. And the championship game will be Monday at 7:30. The third place game Monday at 6 o'clock. And then the boys championship game and consolation game will be on Tuesday. And of course, we talked about the interesting way that it matches up in the region. This District 7 3A, because of the strength at it, will enter as pretty heavy favorites, at least in the top 3 seeds against the other district that we're about to talk about. Now, that is just on paper, and games are not played on paper, as we know. But the 1 seed out of this district, if conventional wisdom holds, would play the 1 seed, or probably would play the 3 seed out of this district in the region semifinal, which will be an elimination game. Jacob, try one more time. Absolutely not. And now you're coming through the wrong everything. You got nothing. You all can't see Jacob, but I can. So I don't know what you want to do about this scenario. Okay, Jacob's going to restart his computer, and I'm going to keep going. We're going to turn our attention towards District 7 3A on the boys' side. And this one will also start on Friday with a play-in game as White County, the 4 seed, takes on the 5 seed Livingston Academy. That'll follow that girls' game, so approximately a 7:30 p.m. tip-off from Cookeville High School. The winner of that game will play the 1 seed Upperman on Saturday at 7:30. Stone Memorial and Cumberland County crosstown rivalry round number 3 will be at 4:30 on Saturday. And of course, we'll have broadcast coverage of this entire tournament because it's all of the schools that we cover in the Upper Cumberland. Again, waiting on Jacob to get back in, but we're rolling on here. White County swept the season series over Livingston. Livingston winless, obviously a very young Wildcats team, but they've shown some moxie at times getting hot. They've got 3 guys on the all Upper Cumberland freshman team. They play a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores, only 1 junior, and Carter Harris out there gets a lot of action for this Livingston team. But for White County, first of all, I wanted to shout out Mason Steele. Went down with an injury in that York game on Monday night. Hopefully he gets good news. A great kid from all that we heard and talking to his coach at their district meeting. So hopefully Mason is all right. He's had a really good season for White County, and his first season of action really extended there in Sparta. And so thoughts and prayers with him. And now Jacob's back in. And absolutely nothing. So, Jacob, I'm going to tell you to pull it up on your phone and see if that works at all. And if it's not, then it's the software. So we'll just do that. We're having fun tonight. But White County, Livingston, I mentioned White County swept the season series over Livingston. If they win, they would play Upperman. 2 very different meetings. Upperman dominated the first meeting in Baxter, then in Sparta. It was a lot closer of a game. White County had a great start. Upperman pulled away late. And Stone Memorial, Cumberland County. Stone swept the season series. Stone's only losses in district play came against Upperman. But Cumberland County has been in the UC top 5. They've been ranked at times statewide, and they have been competitive with Stone Memorial. They just played last week a Stone win in Crossville at Cumberland County. But a game where you really never know what could happen when those two teams get together. The kind of rivalry where you throw the records out the window when Stone and Cumberland County get together. A lot of guys on the All Upper Cumberland team. You talk about Jack Cordell and Briggs Lau for Stone Memorial. On the other side, you've got Saul Sitton. What a year he has had. And guys like Andrew Dennis and Jake Christopher and Christian Goodwin, who's had a really strong year in his second year at the helm. Absolutely nothing as Jacob popped back in. So that means it's the software. So I'm going to jump off and then come right back in. So you're going to see the bracket on the screen. And if that doesn't work, then we'll adjust from there. So one moment and as you see the bracket, and then we'll jump right back in. All right. So I'm back in here now, and Jacob's going to do the same thing. We'll see if that works. The championship game in this tournament. Oh, Jacob.
What about now?
There you are. You are
Hello.
good. So you're good to probably pull up your computer at this point and jump in. Apologies for the technical difficulties. It's a good thing we had the graphics because this would look very
That's right.
funny.
Yeah. Easy.
But I'm giving the
I probably don't sound as good, but here, actually, we can do this when I come back on the computer.
All right. So while he does that, the championship game and consolation will be held on Tuesday. All these games at Cookeville High School. Third place game Tuesday at 6 o'clock, and the third place game, or the championship game rather, Tuesday at 7:30. As we wait on Jacob to get back in here one more time. I don't want to move off of 3A because he had lots of different things that he wanted to say. And you know what? This gives me an opportunity to do, and I will. We're going to hear from our presenting sponsor at Fire and Vine, then come back maybe with the preview of Class 3A on the other side.
Are you looking for the best dining experience in the Upper Cumberland? Visit Fire and Vine in Cookeville's historic West Side. Fire and Vine offers great service and a unique menu, including mouth-watering deep dish pizza, delectable beef, chicken, fish, and more. Take in stunning views from the rooftop while enjoying your meal. Come and experience the charm and flavor of Fire and Vine, your new favorite spot for a memorable dining experience. Fire and Vine is a proud sponsor of this broadcast on the UCR Media Network. Mayberry's Furniture has been family-owned and operated since 1946 and is now serving the Upper Cumberland with locations in both Crossville and Cookeville, offering the largest array of solid wood furniture and mattresses in the area. They also provide a best price guarantee and in-house service and delivery. Stop into their 15,000 square foot showroom at 1020 South Willow Avenue in Cookeville to see their selection of Amish solid wood, flex steel, Tempur-Pedic, Sealy Posturepedic, and much more today. Mayberry's Furniture is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the high school football game of the week on the UCR Media Network.
1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. Testing 1, 2. Check, check, check.
All right, Jacob, are you there?
I'm here. We think.
You're there. You're just going to sound real echoey. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Continue on where you were.
So 7-3A, we were going through what the games were, when they were going to be. Obviously, Cumberland County Livingston Academy Friday night at 6 o'clock. That'll be the play-in game. The winner of that game will move on to play Stowe Memorial Saturday night at 6 o'clock in the district semifinals. White County and Upperman will be before that at 3 o'clock. All of these games being played at Cookeville High School. Saturday will be at 3 and 6 for the girls' side. The boys will also be playing at Cookeville High School on Saturday in between. They're at 4:30 and 7:30. So the girls will get it started. The boys will follow. And then obviously championships will be on Monday and Tuesday. And we'll have broadcast coverage of all of them.
We absolutely will. I mentioned Craig Cantrell and myself will be on the call on Friday for Livingston Academy, Cumberland County. Again, apologies for the technical difficulties, but it looks like everybody stayed with us. And if it sounds a little bit worse for Jacob, that's okay. We find a way. We adjust on the fly, if nothing else.
We'll figure it out.
Well, we're talking about Stowe Memorial, and we didn't get an opportunity to really get in to what the Lady Panthers have done, and that's really closed the season red hot. They finish it on the winning streak. They go into York Institute and get that victory, trailed by double digits in Baxter last Tuesday. They find a way to get hot late. How about Bella Wyatt? 6 huge, and I mean humongous threes in that game. Every time they got down big, there'd be a timeout. Bella Wyatt would come out and hit a three. It feels like she never missed in that game. If she did, it was not often. Stone enters as the number 1 ranked team in the state. And in any other district, they would be the runaway favorite at this point in this district tournament. Jacob, they are still have earned the right to be called the favorite entering the tournament, but we know this one's going to have a lot of ebbs and flows to it.
Well, they do have a loss in district play. Obviously, you got to go all the way back to the beginning of district play on January 13th, where they fell to White County. That was kind of the game where, like, all right, they can beat White County. We'll kind of see what this looks like. And White County pretty much demolished them in that game. 67-43, big win for Sparta. Ever since then, it has been a different Stowe Memorial Ball Club. And it seems like the very young players of this Stowe Memorial team are just getting more and more experienced as the season has gone on, because they have gotten some big wins. Obviously, the win against Upperman in district play, and then they bounced back and got a big win against White County, and then go on the road for their final 4 games of the year. Wins against Clark Range, Upperman, Cumberland County, and York Institute. This is a scary Stowe Memorial Ball Club right now, and rightfully earning that number 1 seed going into the district tournament. But to your point, anybody can be beaten, especially in this district with these coaches and this talent. I mean, there is so much talent in 7-3A here on the girls' side, and then you got the coaches paired up with it. I wouldn't be surprised if anybody wins this championship.
Let's talk about Upperman a little bit here, because the Lady Bees had that stretch where they struggled. And really, let's be honest, we know it's not bad to lose to Livingston Academy, but that's the loss that kind of jumped out to people, because these battles with White County, they split the season series there. They were very competitive with Stone in both matchups. They dropped 1 to Livingston, and then people, and let's be honest, people like to write off Upperman if they get the opportunity to. There's been a lot of success for Dana McWilliams and Baxter. It is the most recent full trophy case in the Upper Cumberland, but they bounced back. It started with the win over the Kings Academy, then went toe-to-toe with Stone Memorial in a game that was a coin flip game. Stone earned the victory, but Upperman, I thought, gave a really good account for themselves. Go on the road, didn't play great, found a way to beat Canning County, and then smoked them 35-6 at the end of the first quarter. And you saw the Upperman team that we saw in Greenville go win maybe the toughest public school / just tournament in the Southeast, really, certainly in this state, come holiday time in the AJB Ladies Classic there in Greenville. You saw that team show up again a little bit over the past week and a half, and this may be the most dangerous 3 seed that this state has to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. The Upperman down at the 3 seed, and obviously they're playing with a little bit of fire as well. They go back to last year. They had that loss to Livingston Academy in the region tournament, where they felt like they should have been moving on in the region tournament, and their season comes to a close. And we just talked about it with Livingston Academy. They make it to that sectional round and play a really good game in that sectional round. But for this Upperman team, I think you said it, they really found their stride in that Canning County game. I mean, Taylor DeLency was absolutely ridiculous. 8 made triples in that ball game. It started with Gracie Butler scoring the basketball, getting to the basketball, and they got back on their defense as well. Only allowing the 6 points in that first quarter is great, but they scored 35 in the first quarter as well, which is absolutely ridiculous. It is not exactly what you want to see if you're Coach Dodgen, but when those two get together, it is always really, really fun, and obviously they split in the regular season.
Yeah, let's talk about those White County Warriorettes now. This is a team that entered the year the number 1 ranked team in the Upper Cumberland. They were there at times throughout this season as well. They were right there, right on the doorstep of it last week. They had, it's very interesting. Their series is maybe the most split when it comes to at home. They handled business in emphatic fashion against Stone. Then on the road, Stone handled business in pretty emphatic fashion against them. They split with Upperman. They obviously fantastic record inside Rule Seal Gymnasium. They ran out the regular season getting the win at York Institute. Not an easy thing to do at all. They enter with a lot of moxie. They also enter boasting the defensive player of the Upper Cumberland, first team all Upper Cumberland, and Gracie Clark. Lakeland Grasty, you've got 2 honorable mentions in Ashlyn Selby and Bella Winningham. A team, remember, this is the team that made it out last year, made the state tournament, did not get a favorable draw. If they would have been in Heritage's spot on the top of the bracket, there's no doubt they would have been playing on Saturday. Instead, they got put into the bracket with Dyersburg and Southside, and seemed like the 4 strongest teams in the bracket were on the bottom side. But it's a team that now has that state tournament experience. Obviously, one different major piece, Ashlyn Selby instead of Ava Jones. But Ashlyn Selby's had a great year. She's a different player than Ava Jones, but she's been really, really good. They've got Coach Dodgen. They've got a ton of confidence. They've got that superpower of in close games, they feel like they're going to win because it seems like they always do. It's a White County team. And this is true. It's going to sound like a broken record. All three of these teams, it's the truth, absolutely can win a gold ball. And it starts with, not your average semifinal game, but no matter what happens on Saturday, I don't think it's going to change my opinion that this is a team that can win a state championship.
Yeah, and I think that's the interesting thing about Saturday as well, that no matter what happens, all of those teams can still win that first game and even the second game in the region tournament. So obviously you want to keep winning in the postseason because you don't want to have a loss and then have to bounce back after loss. You always want to win. But Saturday doesn't matter for these four teams. Obviously it does, but it doesn't. Just in terms of these are four really good basketball teams. No matter who moves on to that region tournament, a nod to Watertown, but this district is going to dominate that district once we get to that region tournament. So you want to be playing your best basketball, and it starts with playing a good game here in the semifinals and then seeing what you can do in the championship and the consolation round. And interested to see how it goes.
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention, when we talked about the seeding, the 2 seed out of this tournament. So the runner-up in the district tournament will face the other district's number 3 at home and will win by a lot. And then we'll face either the one of the other district. Watertown enters as a favorite, but not a slam. That's going to be an interesting district tournament. We're about to talk about it. Or the 4 seed out of District 7 3A, which obviously would not be an easy game. But on the other side, the champion will get the 4 seed out of that region at home and win by a lot. And then we'll face the 3 seed out of this district because we anticipate the 3 seed being a heavy favorite over the 2 seed out of District 8. Obviously, anything can happen, but that path, very interesting. You do not want to face one of these 3 in the semifinal round, but for 2 of the 3, that is likely exactly what's going to happen next week.
And that's why you just want to take care of business on Saturday, take care of business on Monday, and just be the 1 seed going into that region tournament and set yourself up with the easiest path.
Well, but that's the problem, Jacob. The 1 seed is going to play the 3 out of this district. So that's the issue. The 2 seed really has the best path. I'm just saying. But
we don't need to put that out there, though.
But all 4 of these teams, this is the other fun part about it. All 4 of these teams are capable of winning against anybody. And that's why they're so strong. And none of the 4 are going to be intimidated to play any team left. The next 2 weeks in this, let's talk about it. We've been hitting on the other. Well, actually, we got to get to the boys' side first, and then we'll get to 8 3A as well. But the boys' tournament, interesting as well, although certainly a little bit more of a favorite at the top of this district.
Yeah, Upperman, the number 1 seed here in this one. They'll have their playing game coming up on Friday night between White County and Livingston. We'll have broadcast coverage of that coming up at 7:30 after Cumberland County and Livingston on the girls' side. Winner of that game moves on to play Upperman Saturday night at 7:30. The other semifinal is at 4:30 between Stowe Memorial and Cumberland County. That's going to be a really fun ball game in that semifinal to try to get into the championship. Kind of similarly to Clark Range in 7 single A, this Cumberland County boys team has been so fun to see what Coach Goodwin has done here in just 2 years and how much better basketball they are playing here this season.
Yeah, they're playing great basketball. I've been really impressed with the job that Coach Goodwin has had. We ranked the top 3 coaches for our ballots. He was on my ballot for Coach of the Year in the Upper Cumberland. I thought he's been that good. I've just seen so much development this year out of his entire basketball team. Super intriguing game. Obviously, you got the crosstown rivalry aspect. Stone entered the year, and they've proven me right so far. I said of all the teams that maybe are undervalued or overvalued or whatever, I think Stone may be the most undervalued during the season. They were a team that I thought had the potential to be a sub-state type team, and I absolutely still feel that way. I think you've seen Jack Cordell be very consistent. You've seen Briggs Lau really emerge, and then you've seen the cast around them come up and make big plays. They've added depth with Noah Potter off their bench. They can shoot the 3. Tanner Bowman can really get hot from long range. They had that comeback attempt in Baxter, and it was really him sparking it with his triples. They could get after it on the defensive end. And I think Jess Raby has shown he's a little bit wise. He's not a little bit, but he's wise beyond his head coaching experience 1 year that he has. It's a dangerous Stone team, but it's a dangerous Cumberland County team as well. Those matchups in the regular season were very competitive at times, and I expect this one to be a competitive semifinal game as well.
Yeah, Cumberland County got blown out just one time by 25 points against Upperman. Other than that, they had a couple of wins against White County, a couple of wins against Livingston, and then even the two games against Stowe Memorial, 13-point loss and a 10-point loss in the game in both of those matchups. So be really interested to see what they can do in the semifinals coming up Saturday at 4:30. And again, like we talked about on the girls' side, all of these games being played Saturday in the semifinals after the play-in games on Friday, all of them at Cookeville High School. And of course, we will have broadcast coverage of all of these basketball games. The winners of the semifinal games will move on to the Tuesday championship round. At 6 o'clock will be the consolation game. 7:30 will be that championship on Tuesday. And again, all of those games at Cookeville High School. We ready for 8-3A?
Let's do it.
All right. So we go to 8-3A now, and this is where 7-3A will match up with both girls and boys. So for 8-3A, there it is. Watertown, that number 1 seed, all these games being played at Watertown. Central Magnet the 4, and then Macon County and DeKalb in that other semifinal. That'll be at 3 o'clock. These games are being played on Saturday as well. Macon County and DeKalb first up at 3, and then Watertown and Central Magnet at 6 o'clock. And we kind of talked about it with this district, especially on the girls' side. Watertown is a good basketball team, 17-10 on the year. We've seen them a couple of times already this season. Upperman has played them this season already, and seems like they are kind of the only team that is going to challenge the rest of this district. And we've seen Macon County and Livingston Academy play. Livingston Academy has taken care of Macon County a couple of times.
Livingston fell at Watertown's that game where they really struggled to score in the fourth quarter of that game. But this is the thing. If you're Watertown or any of these teams, you have every bit the right to say we have been disrespected and overlooked, because everybody, it's not just us, has said, oh, 7-3A. Right, 7-3. Watertown is a dangerous basketball team, man. You look at Watertown, they've ended the year red hot. They've won 7 consecutive games, Jacob. They faced Westview as a 2A powerhouse, only lost by 8 in that game. Played Upperman all the way back at the Thanksgiving tournament in Mount Juliet. Upperman won 50-26, but the day before, they only lost to Blackman by 3. So they have been competitive at times. It seems like they found their stride. I mentioned the Livingston game. It was a 36-28 win. And they kind of have that Livingston factor I mentioned where
Livingston did beat them the second time around.
They did, but they have that factor of all of a sudden you'll find yourself in a game that's close and you haven't scored a lot. And they've played really well on the defensive end, and that could cause you to tense up. And it's a Watertown team. Listen, if they win, and that's an if, but if they win this district tournament, they're going to host the 4 seed. We'll see who that is. And then they're going to have a top 5 team in the state to play for a right to go to sub-state. So a dangerous team. And then on the other side, and I want to shout out, and unfortunately we knew this would happen because they got thrown into this district, which goes the other way from the rest of our teams. DeKalb County finding a way to be the 3 seed here, and a Macon County team, McCade Mix, she's the player of the year in this district at 13-14 on the season. A Macon County team 3-3 in district play. They had a little bit of a rough patch where they lost 6 out of 7 games, but outside of that, they've been competitive. They went and lost in a holiday tournament where they dropped 4 games, but against in-state competition, I think they're above 500 against those teams. So these are teams that will have a little bit of house money to them in the region tournament. And obviously we're going to preview that later on, but this is a district tournament as well. Macon County, DeKalb County should be a really good basketball game on Saturday to set themselves up for seeding, a tournament where seeding is going to be very important. And the winner of this district tournament, if everything goes chalk or relatively chalk, will not have to play a top 5 team in the state in the first round of the region tournament. So a lot of emphasis on winning this one for these District 8-3A teams.
Watertown will play Central Magnet in their semifinal. They beat Central Magnet a couple of times in the regular season by 22 and 31. Macon County and DeKalb County in that other semifinal is going to be a really good game. They split in the regular season. DeKalb County won by 3, and Macon County won by 6 in those 2 matchups. So be really interested to see what those 2 do coming up in that first semifinal Saturday at 3 o'clock. Again, all those games being played at Watertown with the championships on Monday and Tuesday. Talk about the boys' side of things as well. In 8-3A, the number 1 seed are those DeKalb County Tigers. They'll take on Watertown in the semifinal. And then you got Macon County and Central Magnet in that second or technically the first semifinal, Saturday at 4:30, and then DeKalb County and Watertown Saturday at 7:30. All of these games also being played at Watertown. So they're doing the same thing that 7-3A is doing at Cookeville High School, where the boys and girls are all playing on Saturday. They're doing the same thing here at Watertown.
Yeah, congratulations to DeKalb County finding a way this year to get it rolling. 13-14 on the season, but 4-2 in district play. The Tigers enter as the number 1 seed, Macon County a team that has a lot of athletes on it. So as that 2 seed, dangerous, and really both these district tournaments you've seen out of 8-3A, I think in the boys' side even more so than the girls, wide open. DeKalb County at 4-2, Macon County at 4-2, Central at 2-4, Watertown at 2-4. But a lot of competitive games. There's been a couple of blowouts in there. DeKalb beat Central by 22, but every other game for DeKalb County was decided by single digits. Macon County, 2 double-digit games. Everything else single digits, right? The list goes on and on. So this has been a competitive district, and it kind of reminds me of that 6 single-A district we talked about with Van Buren County, where it's been back and forth, very much up in the air. And this one, critical to win. Critical to win. If you win, you don't have to play Upperman until a region championship game. If you lose, even if you find a way to win, you are likely going to play Upperman before a region championship game. So this one will likely be the hardest play district championship game in the state. At least it should be, because every other matchup you can at least have it be workable. Ty Cobb, Colton Johnson, Bobby McWilliams and company roll into your gym or against you. It's not a comfortable feeling to have in an elimination game.
Yeah, and again, you look at this district, like Noah said, it's unbelievably competitive. DeKalb County 4-2, Macon County 4-2. They split with each other in the regular season. 7-point win for DeKalb County, 5-point win for Macon County. And DeKalb County, like he said too, single-digit wins against everybody else except for Central Magnet, which they won by 22. They did go 2-0 against Central Magnet, but they went 1-1 against Watertown and 1-1 against Macon County. So everybody's kind of beaten up on each other in this district. The 2 wins for Central Magnet were both against Watertown. Watertown was able to pick off a win against DeKalb County and a win against Macon County. So this district really could go absolutely any way, and we'll see if Watertown is able to use it being in their home floor to their advantage coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, it should be a very interesting tournament. Watertown, that's a really good gym. We'll obviously see a lot of games there next week in the region tournament, but I think this should be one of the more fun district tournaments in the state.
All right, so that's it for 3A. We move on to 4A, and the final couple of district tournaments that we will talk about tonight. We start on the girls' side. 6-4A, Cookeville, the number 1 seed. They'll take on number 5 Shelbyville coming up Saturday at 2 o'clock. Coffee County and Lincoln County will play at 6 o'clock in the other semifinal on the girls' side. Shelbyville beat Warren County 30-27 in their playing game back on Monday. And so for the Cavaliers, their march back to the state tournament begins coming up Saturday at 2, and we'll be there for broadcast coverage.
Yeah, first of all, how about Shelbyville beating Warren County?
Yeah.
That one out of nowhere in McMinnville on Monday night. That one in a low-scoring 30-27 game. That's a shocker. That was a I know. Congrats to Shelbyville for getting it done. Your reward is you get to play Cookeville. So I don't know how much of a reward that is. This is that 2-3 game. Coffee County, Lincoln County, pivotal Coffee County at home. You know, there's maybe a little reputation for not a terrible whistle in that gym. So, I'm just saying. Now, that being said, this is a great program for Coffee County. And this district, really everything shapes up towards the region because the sub-state is everything. For all the talk preseason about how Bradley Central's down, XYZ, well, Bradley Central's undefeated, and they probably have the favorite to win Miss Basketball with Kimura Field still there.
Oh, now they're in your region, too. Yeah.
Sub-state.
Oh, yeah.
Sub-state.
Region.
Yeah, problem. You don't want to play Bradley Central. You sure?
Let me pull it up real quick.
I don't think that's correct.
I thought I was sure. But now that you're looking at me like that, they're in District 5. They're in District 5.
Okay.
District 5 and 6.
You are correct. I apologize.
Cleveland's in there as well.
I should have never doubted you. Anyway, very important to win this district. As I was saying, critically important to win this district, to avoid playing Bradley Central with your season on the line, whether that's anytime. And Cookeville has been able to avoid that. Remember that that has been you have to win the region tournament. You have to win the district to avoid playing Bradley Central, especially at Bradley Central. Now, it looks like they're going to be able to avoid that, but you don't want to have anything to do with them in an elimination game because speaking of favorable whistles, I'm not talking at all about, and Bradley Central is unbelievably skilled and has had a great year. And listen, it's not an easy thing to do to roll undefeated, period. Have everybody say that you're going to be down from where you were. And maybe they are, because last year's team is one of the all-time greats that's ever come through this. Let's just be honest. That was a generational team, and for whatever reason they were. And so maybe they're not that, but they're still the number one ranked team in the state, and they're still undefeated, and you'd rather not play them. So Cookeville, thank you, Brooke. By the way, I want a note about that coming up later when it comes to Cookeville and something we're doing on Sunday at Cookeville High School. But you got to win this region.
Yep.
Now, Coffee County, or I should say Cleveland and Bradley Central on the other side.
So Cleveland's a pretty good test as well because, I mean, they took Bradley to a 9-point game and a 2-point game. And I believe, if I remember seeing right, they were up pretty big on Bradley Central late in one of those games.
Correct. So Cleveland is a talented basketball team, but you and I both know who would you rather play? Now, that's not to say Cleveland can't beat any of these teams. Yeah. Now, back to this district tournament. This district's been very interesting this year. Obviously, Coffee County got the win over Cookeville, and I think that could lead people to say this district is fairly tight. Cookeville handled their business this year in this district. The Lady Cavs handled their business this year. Make no mistake about it. They dropped one, and when they had Charlie Roby back in their lineup, they really handled business in this district. I am a gigantic Charlie Roby fan. The fact that she could miss a month of action and was still on the All Upper Cumberland team tells you how big of a fan we are of Charlie Roby and how she really puts everybody into a really natural position on the floor. Her energy on defense is huge. They've got superstars with Carolee Gilbert and Allie Gillis, all defensive team member with Tanaya Dirksen. Make no mistake about it. This is a team that was ranked number one in the state for a time. Now, Bradley Central's undefeated. They've earned the right to be number one at this point. But it's a Cookeville team that has state championship aspirations, and it starts this tournament because either way, and it is in the region, but if it's in the region, if it's the sub-state, if it's beyond, set yourself up to have the best possible path. Cookeville will try to do that. Now, listen, if Coffee County beats Lincoln County, though, Jacob, they're going to have a tough test in that district championship game. The good news is they've already beaten Coffee County in that building in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, beaten by 16 points, 56-40 back on February the 6th. So not too long ago, just 12 days ago, they were able to get that win. Cookeville playing Shelbyville in the semifinal coming up on Saturday. We'll be there for broadcast coverage. They beat Shelbyville by 46-26 in the regular season.
Safest dub of the night. I'm going to go on
County in Lincoln County, when they got together in the regular season, they split in the regular season. Lincoln County won by 5 and Coffee County won by 12.
That is a Lincoln County team that's very interesting. They're well coached. Their size is different. Now, that's not a Cookeville
played them in the state tournament last year.
Correct. That's not a Cookeville discussion because everyone talks about Cookeville's size. It has not mattered. It has not mattered in 4 years. Their speed is a bigger advantage than the other team's size. That being said, Lincoln County, when they can keep both of those bigs on the floor at one time, really changes the looks for teams. And so we'll see how Coffee County handles that in a third matchup. Obviously, being at home is a big advantage for Coffee County, but Cookeville earned the right to have an advantageous path. And through that, they have earned the right to be the favorite in this tournament. They handle their business. We'll see what happens between Bradley Central and Cleveland on the other side. That region tournament is going to be the best 4A region tournament in the state of Tennessee, though.
Oh, it's going to be unreal. You got Cleveland and Bradley Central up top, and then you got 3 of these teams in Cookeville, Coffee County, and Lincoln Counties. 5 really, really good basketball teams will be coming up in that region tournament. All right, let's talk about the final bracket of the night. 6-4A here on the boys' side. It already started off with a bang last night. An overtime thriller for the Cookeville Cavaliers. Keep their season alive. They beat Warren County 68-65. Tip of the cap to Coach Hill and those guys out there on the floor. A little bit shorthanded. No Austin Teeters. Jalen Dank fouls out with 2 minutes to go. Brody Parsons hits a massive shot down the stretch. Jason Mitchell had some huge minutes in overtime in there in the fourth quarter as well. And a tip of the cap to Walker Redding hitting the shot. 3 seconds to go. He was deep in that corner. That was not an easy angle. Nothing but net to send it to overtime. I'm going to take this moment to say as well, I'm not a coach, but if I was, if you're
Foul
up
up
three,
three.
foul. Why would you not? It never works out well.
Every time,
Anyway,
by the way,
it
just
worked
a
out
quick,
well for the Cavaliers.
just to aside on this because he's so passionate about it. Even if he's doing a game and I'm doing a game, or for whatever reason I'm not watching, we will just get a text in our UCR group chat, foul up three. And I know
Always in
somebody
all
didn't
caps.
foul up three. And now listen, it's not the
They had a
easiest
foul
thing.
again.
It's not the easiest thing in the world to foul up three, because if you don't time it right, they have too much time, or they can be in the act of shooting. But you should foul up three. I'm with you on that one. You should foul up three.
1,000%.
Coach Jacob
Anyway,
Vincent says foul up three.
anyways, it worked out for the Cavaliers, so it's we'll get to call some Cavalier action for at least 3 more games coming up on starting on Saturday. They move on to play the number 1 seed Shelbyville. We talked about competitive districts. This may be the most competitive district in the state. Shelbyville was the district number 1 seed. They went 5-3 in the regular season, and there was really only one blowout win, if you want to call it that. It was against Warren County. They won by 21. They did beat Cookeville by 17, but then Cookeville beat them by 10 the second time around. They had a couple of wins against Coffee County, that being Shelbyville. So interested to see what the Cavaliers can do coming up on Saturday. And then you got Coffee County and Lincoln County in the other semifinal. And those two in the regular season, Coffee County was able to win those 2 ball games by 9 points a couple of times. So it's going to be so interesting coming up on Saturday. Shelbyville, Cookeville boys will be at 3:30, and then Coffee County, Lincoln County will be the nightcap at 7:30. I have absolutely no clue who is going to win this district.
To me, the most wide open district tournament in the state of Tennessee in all classes is this tournament. Every single team. And by the way, if Warren County would have won yesterday, they could have won this tournament. It is
Right.
that
Absolutely.
wide open.
Absolutely.
First of all, credit Coach Hill and his staff and these players, because that is a tough place to play. It looked incredibly rowdy last night. They've got some really good players. Wasn't a great whistle from what I heard, but they found a way to battle back late. Season on the line, it's easy to pack it up. They did not. So tip of the cap to that basketball team. And now they've earned a right to go play in a tournament in which they have a chance to win it. And it should be a fantastic game with Shelbyville on Saturday. Cookeville had split with everybody except Warren County, and Warren County, and they found a way to beat them. So they've shown
this year that they played.
They've shown they can beat anybody in this district, but they can also lose anybody in this district. And I think that's the thing that this coaching staff will be able to say is, when we play a certain way, we can win, but we have to play that way. And if Cookeville does that, they get a chance to put a run together here when you look ahead.
Now, this is a very similar district where you better win your district tournament, because you got Walker Valley waiting on the other side in that other district that you'll meet in the region tournament. 23-3 on the year. They went 10-0 in district play. That is a very, very good basketball team in Walker Valley. So you want to make sure you take care of business. They have a win against Maryville. I don't know if anybody saw what Maryville did against Alcoa the other night, but it was a 51.
51. They doubled them up. It was 102-51.
Insane.
Goodness.
Absolutely ridiculous. So all that to say, Walker Valley is a very good basketball team. So you better take care of your business here in the district tournament, and then see what you can do coming up there in that region tournament as well.
And by the way, I mentioned it, right hand up of accountability. You were right. That is the region, of course. It's because this year we have these splits where we have a lot of District 7, then we have a couple of District 6. And District 7 doesn't go east until sub-state, and District 6 goes east immediately. So,
and Cookeville was in District 7 last year, and then they moved to District 6 this year. So that's where it gets a little bit weird.
But Coffee County, you look at them as the 2 seed in this district. You say, okay, then you add, a couple points for home court advantage, which is a very real thing. By the way, one of these years, Cookeville is going to get to host these tournaments.
Oh my goodness! I was literally, as we were walking out of Baxter on Monday night, I'm walking there with Goose, and I said, I cannot wait until Cookeville gets to host something, whether it's a district tournament or a region tournament. Just gets to I mean, they're always winning, especially here in these last 4 years. They're always in the championship ball games. So let's maybe, I don't know, let them host it.
Yeah, I think we don't notice it as much because the other districts, they're at neutral sites and they're all Upper Cumberland teams. But with Cookeville, they've been having to go. Lebanon was like a reprieve.
Lebanon was fine. That was okay.
I'm sure to go to Lincoln County before it comes to Cookeville.
Yeah.
But, we would very much enjoy. The cameras are moving now. So hello, everybody. We've been breaking down the 14 district tournaments, 7 different districts, boys and girls. We've had all the brackets up. We also have these, of course, coming to the website, uppercumberlandreporter.com. We've got some more stuff coming, including the all-district teams. So if you have not sent us your all-district teams, if you don't do it soon, it's not going to be on there, and we can't read minds. So send it to us, and we'll make sure that that gets on the website as well. But it's go time. Hope now that you have a little bit of an idea of all these district tournaments, and we're going to re-rack it and do it again for the region. Now, remember the top 4 teams, and now we have those in each of these districts advance on into the region tournament. The top 2 teams go out of the region into the sub-state round. You win your sub-state game. The region champions host. The region runner-ups go on the road. If you win that game, you're in the state tournament. And because of the way it's set up from this point on, teams have to win 3 games. They can lose their next 2. All they have to do is win the region quarterfinal, region semifinal, and sub-state game, and you are into the state tournament in the Glass House in Murfreesboro. It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, it really is crazy how quickly it does go. We've got the broadcast starting tomorrow, 7 single-A semifinals, 6:30 and 8 o'clock. Here on the Facebook page, we'll have Pickett County and Clay County. That'll be right here on the Facebook page at 6:30. And then on Friday, we've got all kinds of basketball games. We'll have the 7A boys semifinals, and then obviously the playing games for 7-3A. Saturday, we've got 7-3A, we've got 6-4A, and then Monday and Tuesday, we got everybody coming up on Monday and Tuesday. So all kinds of broadcasts coming your way over the next few days. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got Tech basketball coming up. And then on Sunday, we got something interesting going on as well.
We do. Upper Cumberland Middle School All-Star Games. We'll be broadcasting 4 of those on Saturday. We're also sponsoring the 3-point shootout. And if you recall, last year we did that, and you got to hear a lot of fun names. Lily Brock, you heard Star White. Lexi Clark was sensational in that game. And then a year later, she is the Freshman of the Year in the Upper Cumberland. So you're going to get to see the stars of the next few years. If you haven't seen some of these kids play, they can ball. So we hope you'll join us for that throughout the afternoon and evening on Sunday. More to come. We're thrilled to be a part of that event for a second straight year.
All right. I think that does it. You got anything else?
That's it. Let's go home.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for bearing with us in my technical difficulties getting through. We got back up here. You can hear us. You can see me. So we figured it out. And fortunately, we had the backup plan in here as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, please hit that share button. Give us a like and leave us a comment. It helps us out more than you know. Tune into the games coming up tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And then it's region tournament after that as well. It's the best time of the year, and we're so glad to have you along with it. That's Noah McKay. I'm Jacob Vincent saying so long.